They told you building muscle after 70 was impossible. That sarcopenia was just part of aging. That you'd need expensive protein powders, rigorous exercise programs, or even medications to maintain muscle mass. But what if I told you there's one simple spoonful of a common kitchen ingredient that, when taken 30 minutes before bed, can trigger muscle protein synthesis while you sleep, even if you're 70, 80, or older? And doctors rarely mention it, not because it doesn't work, but because it's so inexpensive and accessible that there's no profit in recommending it. Why? Because while the supplement industry is making billions selling whey protein, BCAAs, and pre-workout formulas, this single ingredient works with your body's natural nighttime repair cycle to build muscle more efficiently than any daytime protein shake ever could. And if you're over 70, what you do in the hour before sleep either signals your body to rebuild muscle or allows it to continue breaking down overnight. Today, I'm going to reveal exactly what this one spoonful is, why the timing before bed is absolutely critical, and how it works with your body's natural growth hormone release during deep sleep to reverse sarcopenia, even when conventional wisdom says it's too late. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll have a simple nighttime ritual that could literally change how your body looks and feels in the next 60 days. But before I reveal this powerful muscle building secret, if you're serious about maintaining your strength and independence after 70, hit that like button right now. And subscribe to this channel for daily evidence-based strategies to build muscle, boost energy, and stay mobile no matter your age. Drop a comment and tell me, have you been told you're too old to build muscle? I want to hear your story. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth about muscle loss after 70. The medical establishment will tell you about sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength. They'll explain that after 30, you lose 3 to 8% of your muscle mass per decade, and that rate accelerates dramatically after 60. By the time you reach 70, you're potentially losing muscle at a rate that directly threatens your independence. Less muscle means more falls, more fractures, more difficulty getting out of chairs, climbing stairs, or even carrying groceries. But here's what they don't emphasize enough. This isn't inevitable. It's not your destiny just because you've reached a certain age, and you don't need expensive interventions to fight it. The real problem is that most doctors don't understand the critical role of nighttime nutrition in muscle preservation and growth, especially for seniors. They'll tell you to eat more protein, which is true, but they miss the most important part. When you eat, that protein matters just as much as how much you eat. You see, your body has a natural rhythm. During the day, when you're active and eating regularly, your body's in a mixed state, sometimes building, sometimes breaking down tissue depending on what you're doing and eating. But at night, something special happens. About 60 to 90 minutes after you fall asleep, your pituitary gland releases a surge of growth hormone, the master regulator of tissue repair and muscle synthesis. This is your body's prime rebuilding window. The problem? Most seniors go to bed with an empty stomach or after eating dinner 4 to 5 hours earlier. By the time growth hormone peaks, there are no amino acids available in the bloodstream to actually build muscle. Your body has the signal to grow, but no building materials. It's like showing up to a construction site with blueprints, but no lumber, no nails, no concrete. Nothing gets built. And here's what makes it worse. Most protein recommendations focus on fast-digesting proteins like whey, which are great after exercise but terrible before bed. Why? Because whey digests in about 60 to 90 minutes. If you take it before sleep, it's already gone from your bloodstream by the time growth hormone peaks. You've wasted the most powerful muscle-building window your body has. This is why seniors can eat adequate protein all day long and still lose muscle. They're feeding their body at the wrong times. The supplement industry doesn't want you to know this because they make more money selling you multiple products throughout the day rather than focusing on the one strategic spoonful that actually matters most. So what is this one spoonful that changes everything? The ingredient that doctors should be recommending but rarely do? My number one recommendation for patients over 70 who want to build or maintain muscle is deceptively simple yet scientifically profound. 1 heaping tablespoon of cottage cheese, specifically before bed. Now I can already hear you thinking, "Doctor, that's it? Just cottage cheese?" But let me explain why this single spoonful is more powerful for nighttime muscle building than any expensive protein supplement you can buy. Cottage cheese is one of nature's richest sources of casein protein, and casein is fundamentally different from other proteins in one critical way. It's a slow-release protein that takes 6 to 8 hours to fully digest and absorb. When you consume casein before bed, you're creating a sustained drip of amino acids into your bloodstream throughout the entire night. This means when your growth hormone surges during deep sleep, the building blocks for muscle protein synthesis are right there, available and ready to use. 1 tablespoon of cottage cheese provides approximately 3 to 4 grams of pure casein protein. But here's the key. For seniors, especially those over 70, you don't need massive amounts of protein at once because your body can't process large doses efficiently anyway. What you need is the right type of protein at the right time in a form your aging digestive system can handle. Casein forms a gel-like substance in your stomach, which is why it digests so slowly. This isn't a disadvantage. It's exactly what you want before bed. That gel releases amino acids gradually, preventing the muscle breakdown that naturally occurs during the overnight fast. It keeps you in what's called a positive nitrogen balance, the state where your body has enough amino acids circulating to support tissue repair rather than breaking down existing muscle for fuel. But casein does something even more remarkable for seniors. It's particularly rich in leucine, the master switch amino acid for muscle protein synthesis. Leucine doesn't just provide building blocks, it actually signals to your muscle cells that it's time to start the construction process. Think of leucine as the foreman on a construction site who tells all the workers to start building. Without enough leucine, even if you have other amino acids available, the muscle-building machinery in your cells doesn't fully activate. Studies specifically on elderly populations show that consuming 5 to 3 grams of leucine, which is roughly what you get from 1 heaping tablespoon of cottage cheese, can trigger the same muscle protein synthesis response as much larger doses of regular protein. This is called the leucine threshold, and it's especially important after 70 because your muscles become resistant to smaller amounts of leucine. You need that threshold dose to overcome the resistance and actually start building muscle. Here's where the timing becomes absolutely critical. When you consume this spoonful of cottage cheese about 30 minutes before bed, you're synchronizing amino acid availability with your body's natural growth hormone pulse. The casein starts digesting slowly, amino acids begin entering your bloodstream. And by the time you hit deep sleep and growth hormone peaks, you have maximum muscle building conditions. Growth hormone plus amino acids plus the overnight fasting state creates the perfect anabolic environment. Your body can focus entirely on repair and regeneration rather than digestion and energy production. And because you're sleeping, there's no competing energy demand. Every single amino acid can go directly toward rebuilding muscle tissue. But there's another reason cottage cheese specifically is superior for seniors beyond just the casein content. It's incredibly gentle on the digestive system. Many seniors struggle with whey protein powders or red meat before bed because they're heavy, can cause reflux, or disrupt sleep. Cottage cheese is cool, light, easy to digest, and won't interfere with sleep quality. In fact, the tryptophan naturally present in dairy can actually support better sleep by helping produce serotonin and melatonin. Better sleep means more growth hormone release, which means even more muscle building. It's a perfect positive cycle. Now let's talk about what the research actually shows, because this isn't just theory. Multiple studies on elderly populations have demonstrated that consuming slow-digesting protein before bed significantly improves overnight muscle protein synthesis rates compared to not eating before bed or consuming fast-digesting proteins. One landmark study on men over 70 showed that those who consumed casein protein before bed for 12 weeks gained measurably more muscle mass and strength compared to those who consumed the same amount of protein at other times of day, even though total daily protein intake was identical. The only difference was timing. Another study specifically looked at cottage cheese versus protein supplements and found that whole food sources like cottage cheese provided additional benefits from naturally occurring micronutrients, calcium for bone health, phosphorus for cellular energy, B vitamins for metabolism, all working synergistically with the protein to support overall muscle and metabolic health in ways isolated protein powders simply cannot match. And here's what I see consistently in my own practice. My patients over 70 who adopt this simple 1 spoon before bed protocol, they're the ones who report noticeable improvements in strength within 4 to 6 weeks. They tell me, "Doctor, I can get out of my chair without using my hands now. I'm walking upstairs without holding the railing as tightly. My legs feel steadier. I don't feel as weak in the afternoon." These aren't dramatic bodybuilder transformations, but they're life-changing improvements in functional strength and independence. And it all starts with one strategic spoonful at the right time. Now, you might be thinking, "Doctor, I don't like cottage cheese," or "I'm lactose intolerant," or "I can't eat dairy." And that's completely fair. Not everyone can or wants to eat cottage cheese. The good news is you have options that preserve the same slow-release nighttime protein strategy. If you're lactose intolerant, try lactose-free cottage cheese, which is widely available and works identically. Many people who react to milk can handle cottage cheese because the fermentation process reduces lactose content. If you absolutely cannot do dairy, look for a casein protein powder, but make sure it's pure micellar casein, not a blend. Mix 1 small scoop with water about 30 minutes before bed. Another whole food option is Greek yogurt, which also contains casein, though in slightly lower concentrations. 1 small serving before bed works similarly for those avoiding all animal products. There is no perfect plant-based equivalent to casein's slow-release properties, but you can combine slower digesting plant proteins like pea protein with a small amount of healthy fat like almond butter, which slows digestion and extends amino acid relief. You can also enhance your cottage cheese to make it more enjoyable without losing the benefits. Add a sprinkle of cinnamon for blood sugar control and flavor. Mix in a few crushed walnuts for omega-3 fatty acids that fight inflammation and support muscle recovery. Stir in a tiny drizzle of honey if you need sweetness, but keep it minimal to avoid spiking blood sugar before bed. Some of my patients love adding a pinch of sea salt and black pepper for a savory option. The key is keeping it simple and light. You don't want a heavy meal before bed that disrupts sleep? Just one strategic spoonful with perhaps a small enhancement for taste and additional nutrients. If you're someone who's currently taking protein powder or eating large protein-heavy dinners, hoping to build muscle, there's an important adjustment to consider. You can absolutely continue eating adequate protein throughout the day, but don't neglect this nighttime window. Many seniors front-load protein at breakfast or lunch, then eat very little in the evening because they're not hungry or they've been told not to eat before bed. That's leaving the most powerful muscle-building window of your day completely empty. Even if you have a protein-rich dinner, if it's at 6 p.m. and you sleep at 10 p.m., that protein is largely digested by the time growth hormone peaks at midnight or 1 a.m. The strategic spoonful right before bed fills that gap. It's not about eating more protein necessarily. It's about timing your protein to match your body's natural rhythms. Remember, building muscle after 70 isn't just about protein numbers on paper. It's about working with your biology, not against it. Your body's already programmed to rebuild muscle at night through growth hormone release. You don't need to fight that system or override it with medications or extreme measures. You just need to provide the raw materials at the right time in the right form. After 70, your margin for error is smaller. Your protein synthesis machinery is less sensitive and less efficient. But that doesn't mean it doesn't work. It means you need to be more strategic. One spoonful of cottage cheese before bed is strategic. It's precise. It's working with your body's natural overnight repair cycle, rather than randomly hoping protein you ate at breakfast somehow builds muscle at midnight. And here's the broader truth about aging and muscle that changes everything once you understand it. You are not too old to build muscle. Your muscles don't have an expiration date. Yes, the process is slower after 70. Yes, you need to be more intentional, but cellular protein synthesis still functions. Your muscles still respond to the right signals. Growth hormone, even though reduced, still releases every single night. The machinery is there. The potential is there. What's been missing for most seniors is the knowledge of how to activate it properly. You've been given generic advice: eat more protein, exercise more, but nobody explained the nighttime window. Nobody told you about casein versus whey. Nobody emphasized that the hour before bed might be more important for muscle building than your entire day of eating. So if you're over 70 and you're serious about building muscle, about maintaining your strength and independence, about avoiding the downward spiral of weakness that leads to falls, fractures, and loss of autonomy, then tonight, 30 minutes before you go to sleep, eat 1 heaping tablespoon of cottage cheese. Make it a non-negotiable ritual. Brush your teeth, take your medications, eat your spoonful of cottage cheese. Do this every single night for 60 days and pay attention to how your body changes. Track your strength. Notice how easily you get up from chairs, how stable you feel on stairs, how much energy you have during the day. I genuinely believe you'll be surprised at what your 70, 80, or even 90-year-old body can still do when you give it the right nutrition at the right time. If this completely changed how you think about building muscle after 70, smash that subscribe button for more science-backed, doctor-approved strategies that actually work for seniors. And tell me in the comments, what time do you usually eat your last meal? Are you ready to try this nighttime muscle-building protocol? Share your experience with the community. Until next time, remember that age is just a number, but muscle is what keeps you independent. Build it, protect it, and never accept weakness as inevitable.